Listen close. The streets are buzzing because word just dropped that Jim Jones supposedly tried to press DJ Akademiks at that NBA YoungBoy concert, and the whole internet is lit right now. Everyone's talking like it's the clash nobody saw coming.
I'm like, oh, I even went in front of my security. I'm like, oh, let me go tap over Birdman real quick. We about to watch him. As soon as I walk down, I see Jim Jones. Now, I'm going to keep it a beam with y'all. And again, I'm only speaking from my perspective. And y'all know, like, when I be telling these stories, I don't never be hyping nothing, right? Like, I think I'm pretty fair. I was walking quickly to get to Birdman, but right behind Birdman was Jim Jones. Jim Jones had brought his mom there. I didn't even realize he brought his mom. Like, Mama Jones, he brought his mom. So I'm walking mad quickly. But I ain't going to lie to you. I think the way Jim seen it was like I'm walking up on him. I swear. Like, cause I'm walking mad quick. And so I see Birdman and I see Jim Jones. And I'm like, oh, it's Jim, what up? Now let me tell you the history with me and Jim. I don't know if it's history. I did an interview with Kanye West. Kanye West said he gave Jim Jones $2 million and he was mad that Jim Jones couldn't make him a PDF.
Being a content creator might sound like a dream job, but here's the truth. You talk so much every single day, you can't even keep track of half of it. Imagine this. You meet Lil Che years later, and he still remembers something you said in passing, even if you forgot, because for them, those words cut deep.
Okay, that went viral. Jim was trying to get some buzz at the time. Jim, I don't know how, like, through an intermediary, hits me to say, yo, I want to do an interview responding to Ye. It never happened, but while setting it up, Jim says to me, yo, we should probably get on the phone, because, I just want to make sure we good, right? That happens with mad artists, Chad. Like, sometimes an artist want to talk to you before getting on set with you, because they don't know if you about to just ask them some federal shit or whatever. So that's valid with me talking. So that's the last thing I know about anything with me and Jim.
That's the danger of living your opinions out loud online, and they never disappear. And Akademiks, he's live for hours, clowning, debating, and calling out people left and right. So it's only a matter of time before someone takes it personal. But here's where it gets spicy. This Jim Jones situation might not even be about what Axe said about him. Word on the block is that it's deeper, maybe connected to Axe's connection with 6ix9ine. Because in street culture, it's not just about who you are, it's about who you stand next to. Jim's from that old school code where loyalty outweighs logic. And let's not forget, his crew took major L's when 6ix9ine flipped. People like Mel Matrix and Shotty got hit with heavy sentences, 10, 15 years gone, while 6ix9ine walked free, still talking slick. So if Ak is standing shoulder to shoulder with 6ix9ine, posting him up, defending him to Jim, that's straight up disrespect. In his eyes, that's guilt by association, no questions asked, and that's what's fueling this whole fire. In Jim's world, if you stand beside a rat, you're part of the story too. Fair or not, that's the street mindset, and logic don't always live there. Now, Jim showing up with what people are calling young energy, let's be real. What's really cool about acting like a rookie hothead when you're pushing 50? This whole thing just proves one thing. Age doesn't always bring wisdom, but it sure brings drama.
So now, so when I see Jim Jones, I'm like, oh, Jim, what up? And Jim, what up back at me? It's a different type of what up. He's like, what up? And I'm like, whoa. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if it's how I walked up, because I walked up like OG3. Remember, you saw OG3 walked up with me? I walked up, but I was just walking quickly to get to Birdman. Whatever. So anyway, that happened. I'm like, damn. First of all, I'm gonna give Jim his credit. Jim was the oldest YN in the building, but he was on YN timing. I'm gonna keep it a beat. I ain't no liar. Jim, I just Googled his age, Jim 49. Jim was the oldest YN up in the building there, but he was on YN timing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you could tell. Jim, and I said to myself, I said, maybe it's because of YoungBoy concert. Everybody a little bit aggressive here. So I go over to say, yo, Jim, we gotta get up and we gotta go do the interview. That's what I'm like, we gotta go do the interview.
Man, what? That right there didn't look like confidence. That looked like straight desperation leaking through. Let's really break it down, because Akademiks' version of events doesn't sound like some wild, young energy moment. It sounds like a man realizing he's trapped in a fight he can't win, and that fight is with the internet itself. Jim Jones knows Tekashi 6ix9ine can't touch him in real life. On the streets, 6ix9ine's a non-factor, a peon compared to Jim's legacy. But online, oh, that's a whole new battlefield.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't know if it's because YoungBoy was on stage, Jim Jones turned to a YN on me. I swear. Jim Jones was like, yo, hold on, let me holler at you, man, let me holler at you. And you know, nigga just start getting to be a little bit more vigilant. I'm like, is he okay now? Jim is like, yo, listen, man, I gotta talk to you. I'm like, all right, what up, what's good? He's like, yo. Now, he was taking a second to kind of get out his point, but this was his point. And I was trying to like do the whole quote thing, but he was like, he kept asking questions like, yo, do y'all think shit y'all do online is cool? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm kind of confused, honestly. I'm legit confused. I know some people are gonna be like, no, actor playing dumb, but I'm kind of confused because I'm also trying to figure out what it could be, right? And I didn't get too much info out of him, but he mentioned 6ix9ine. He said, whatever 6ix9ine. Then he's like, yo, y'all gotta know, it ain't safe when niggas just play with me like that. And I'm thinking about, I'm like, what the?
6ix9ine runs the digital game like a chessboard. He knows how to spin stories, light up the blogs, twist the narrative, and make sure his name stays trending while everyone else scrambles to clean up. And that's where Jim can't compete. Imagine being a street legend, scrolling your phone and seeing headlines like 6ix9ine calls Jim Jones a rat, or 6ix9ine drops paperwork like popping up over and over again. That eats at your pride. You start feeling cornered, not because you fear the man, but because you can't shut down the story. That's what's really burning Jim up, the loss of control. Because no matter how tough you are in the real world, you can't throw hands with an algorithm. Now, let's not forget another layer. Akademiks is tight with Wack 100, and Jim and Wack have been throwing shots for years. Those two have history, disrespect, interviews, name drops, all of it. So when Jim can't get to Wack and he can't touch 6ix9ine, guess who ends up in the line of fire? Akademiks. He's like the middleman catching stray shots from both sides. And the craziest part, when 6ix9ine was last running his mouth about Jim, it wasn't even on Ak's stream. He did it somewhere completely different, which means all this smoke Jim's blowing now didn't even come from that moment. It came after the fact. This ain't about one post or one podcast. This is years of ego, reputation, and pride clashing in real time. And here's the real kicker. Jim Jones was actually the one hitting up Akademiks first. Yeah, he was trying to line up an interview, reaching out like, yo, let's talk. So if all that tension and hostility was supposedly there from the start, then why try to set up a sit down? That don't add up. It starts looking like you were being cool just to get your moment. But when that didn't pan out, suddenly you've got beef? That's not real, and that's performing for attention. At first, Jim played it right though. He pulled Ak aside for a man-to-man convo, and that's respectable. That's how grown folks should handle disagreements. But somewhere in the mix, the tone flipped. That calm adult energy turned into wild, messy teenage behavior. Seeing a 49-year-old man spaz out in public like he's fresh out the high school lunchroom, that's not powerful. That's embarrassing. Like, bro, who's the show for? Meanwhile, Akademiks wasn't even moving weird. He looked calm, laid back, even saying, bro, we good. We about to do an interview. I'm not here for no drama. He wasn't pressing anybody or trying to flex. But Jim, he started cranking up the volume like he was searching for a reason to explode. It felt like watching someone work themselves into a rage mid-conversation, every word pushing him closer to losing it. And Ak just stood there cool like, I got no issue with you, man. What's going on? But Jim flipped it into a full-on show. Yeah, enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Repeating it over and over like he was performing for the cameras. Then out of nowhere, he jumps to, if anybody got a problem with me, what's up? Like, huh? Who even came with Ak that's supposed to be gunning for you, Jimmy? That wasn't regular tension. That was a whole different type of energy. Honestly, the way he was moving looked off paranoid even, like he was seeing threats that didn't exist. It gave off that someone might have pre-gamed a little too hard vibe, twitchy, overhyped, like he was in another headspace completely. Whatever that was, it wasn't calm, cool, or collected. It was chaos on full display. Let's be real. Pulling a man aside to check him privately, that's grown man behavior, straight respect. But this wild, tripping out energy Jim was giving off, nah, that looked like someone seeing ghosts in a room full of people who were just vibing. If you peeped those backstage clips from the Youngboy show, everyone else was chilling, laughing, networking, enjoying the music, except Jim, who looked like he was gearing up for a war that didn't even exist. That's the part that threw everyone off.
Trying to ask him, I said, what me and 6ix9ine got to do with you? Or what I got to do with if you and 6ix9ine got something? Now, granted, Chad, I keep telling you, rappers are the best at, if they can't find the person they don't like, someone else inherits. So it's like Dave Free see me, and Dave Free say, yo, well, I'll never see Drake ever in life, so let me tell you why I'm mad at Drake. Okay, cool. I guess Jim Jones is like, he's mad at 6ix9ine. And I was thinking, I'm like, yo, is he mad at, like, how is he mad at 6ix9ine and coming to me? Y'all two were 9 Trey Bloods. I was never a 9 Trey Blood, and I don't want to be one. If y'all got a problem, and here's the thing, I was thinking about their issue a little bit more. When 6ix9ine was a 9 Trey Blood, Jim knew about it before everybody got locked up. He could have prevented this by trying to do whatever he had to do then.
Nobody else was on beef timing, but Jim turned a chill night into a scene out of a movie. Instead of pulling up smooth, catching a vibe, or even locking in that interview with Ak, he started building tension out of thin air. That's not confidence, that's insecurity showing loud and clear, especially coming from a man who's supposed to be a vet in this industry. And let's talk about the optics, because they matter. Jim Jones walking into a young boy show, a spot packed with the hottest young names in rap, should have been a power move, a chance to show he's still relevant, still respected, but instead of playing it cool, he's snapping at Akademiks like it's life or death.
6ix9ine gets locked up with some of the 9 Trey dudes, tells on the 9 Trey dudes, and then afterwards, 6ix9ine is still clowning, because 6ix9ine like wearing that rat sleeve, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care. But anyway, that happened. I was trying to see, like, because usually I'm one of them people, I talk, like, I have that conversation. I know some of y'all, like, again, after that handshake and even like that energy, I could have just said, I'm gonna just leave him over. I walked up, I thought we could have a conversation. He just wasn't trying to have a conversation. So he was just like, yo, man, I ain't trying to have no conversation. He's like, listen, man, just enjoy the show. And I'm like, okay. Then he's like, yo, he said something like, yo, and if anybody got a problem with me, they can let me know. I'm like, all right. Anyway.
To the younger crowd watching, that doesn't scream OG energy, it screams pressed and out of touch. It's like he's trying too hard to prove something to a generation that's already left that kind of energy behind. Meanwhile, Akademiks came out looking untouched. He didn't wild out, didn't raise his voice, didn't even flinch. That calm demeanor made Jim's outburst look 10 times worse. Because when you're pushing 50, standing in a room full of young stars, yelling about problems nobody else even noticed, it don't look powerful, it looks out of place. And now the internet's got the clips on repeat. People online are already clowning, saying Jim looked paranoid, desperate, and trapped in a timeline that doesn't exist anymore. That's harsh, but that's what folks are saying. At the end of the day, this wasn't about who won a confrontation. It was about image, and in that moment, Jim Jones's image took a serious hit. He pulled up wanting respect, but what he got instead were whispers that maybe, just maybe, the pressure and the years are finally catching up to him. Bro, once those clips hit the internet, the reaction was ruthless. Fans didn't sugarcoat a thing, like they went in hard.
Jim was on his YN energy, man. I'm hoping he was just in a, maybe an upset frame of mind for that time, but I don't know. Then everybody else tells me, they're like, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's exactly how Jim is. He's usually pretty angry. So, whatever. The only thing that I could really think about, obviously 6ix9ine's been saying whatever about Jim Jones, right? They're both in the gang, right? I'm a nigga. If Jim Jones says something about 6ix9ine, I'm posting it. If 6ix9ine says something about Jim Jones, I'm posting that too. Like, that is what it is. I was thinking maybe it was this clip. Like, I was thinking it was this clip. I think we posted it. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was the clip where 6ix9ine did the podcast with Charleston White and Steiny, and he talked about Mel Matrix, right? Because, like, again, he wouldn't like tell me exactly what it is, but I felt like it was over some 9 Trey Blood shit. That's what I'm saying. Jim Jones is still moving around like.
People were saying Jim didn't look like a boss. He looked like a man fighting his own shadows. Some even joked that he was beefing more with his own paranoia than with Akademiks. And for someone like Jim Jones, that's a serious blow to the image, because in the streets, perception is everything. The second folks think you're losing your cool, that aura of power starts cracking like glass. Twitter went wild, memes everywhere, threads dragging him, fans calling him an old head stuck in 2009, and others laughing that Akademiks, the so-called media guy, actually came out looking tougher. Imagine that. The blogger walks away looking more solid than the rapper who built his whole rep on being respected. That's a flip Jim definitely didn't see coming. And honestly, this ain't even the first time the internet's had Jim on defense. Every time 6ix9ine throws dirt on his name, it trends instantly. Every time Whack 100 shades him, people eat it up, repost it, meme it, and instead of brushing it off, Jim always bites. He jumps into the debate, and that's when the cycle restarts. It's like the internet sets the trap and Jim keeps walking right into it, feeding the same fire he says he hates. That's why this whole Backstage blow-up feels way deeper than just a heated moment. It's about how Jim Jones is being perceived now. To a lot of fans, he's not coming off like the untouchable Harlem legend anymore. He's looking like someone rattled by the same game he used to dominate. And what makes it even wilder, Backstage wasn't even on that type of energy. Everyone else was chilling, showing love, catching up. I literally saw OG3 walk up on DJ Vlad, give him a full-on hug, like a 30-second genuine hug. That's how cool the vibes were. Nobody had bad energy, no tension, just good spirits all around. But step outside, whole different story. The fans were on chaos mode, wilding out, yelling, pushing, even fighting. One dude got jumped just for shouting, "Free Lil Durk!" That's how wild the crowd got. So while Jim was tripping inside over problems that didn't even exist, the real drama was outside, and the internet caught it all. Backstage, it wasn't drama, it was a straight-up celebration. Everybody was showing love, smiling, and embracing the fact that young boy is finally free to move, finally free to travel. That's what the night was supposed to be about. A win for the culture, a fresh start for one of the most talked about rappers in the game. But instead of soaking that in, Jim Jones pulled up with the wrong kind of energy and it threw everything off. Let's be honest, nothing about that looked gangster or impressive. It looked corny, out of place, and unnecessary. You had folks celebrating freedom while Jim was walking around like he was hunting ghosts. And that's sad because Jimmy's not some rookie. He's a vet with real enemies, real history, and real street ties. So if he truly wanted to check somebody, there's a long list of actual ops he could have aimed at. But Akademiks over something 6ix9ine said when Ak wasn't even there? That's wild. It makes Jim look like he's pressing the wrong person at the wrong time. And here's what stings. It didn't just make him look emotional, it made him look out of control. Fans saw the footage and said the same thing. This wasn't strength, it was misplaced anger. The night could have been a positive headline, but instead it turned into another meme moment that the internet won't let go of anytime soon. So now I'm tossing it over to you. What do you think? Did Akademiks actually cross a line we don't know about? Or was this just Jim lashing out because the pressure's been building for too long? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear every theory. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with every messy twist and shocking turn. Watch the next video popping up on your screen right now for even more wild celebrity drama. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.